This is the main topic. How to refresh our lives, how to refresh ourselves. So,
We've been navigating similar things as women, right? So I think
mm,
this conversation is really important and really powerful. And I really appreciate you, putting this on this podcast and using your voice, for the voiceless, for other women that may not be able to share. This is like a perfect invitation for women, to use their voice to feel into their own process, their heart, and to connect with other women that are navigating similar experiences, to know they're not alone.
exactly, exactly. And I really know a lot of women and also men that are making very new steps in their lives. And sometimes we feel like we are the only one who do that.
Yeah,
But we are not. Like we all have like this will to renew our lives, and some of us just do it, I don't know, maybe first
yeah,
or just before others, and then others are coming. Like, so yeah, this podcast, and I will say a couple of words about this podcast. It's called The Courage to Reborn, to be reborn, the courage to be reborn. And this is because I look at my life and I see that I have like this passion to always reborn, to make, like, something is ending, and then I feel like, okay, I just must release something, and to be open to new experiences, new formats, new ways of, being and
mhm,
doing also. So I saw that my life is always on this direction. So I started to share, and then I started to reveal that there are more people like feel and feel this in their lives. So I started to ask them and to talk about that also with my own children, my own children
yeah.
participating in my podcast.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
because children always, they always renew themselves.
Exactly. And they're an
Yeah.
invitation for us to remember our own inner child, right? And it's a beautiful thing because it's part of this cycle of life as humans. We are constantly growing and letting go of old versions of ourselves. And kids, they do it so easy. To them, it's like no big deal. But as adults, we have our patterns, we have our personality, our way of being. So children just reflect to us how easy it can be and how joyful it can be, and how you can stay connected to being happy in every single moment. That reminder of that life is play, life is joy, life is expansive, and life is really an adventure. We make life what we want, right? So kids are just these beautiful mirrors that remind us of what's available. If we're feeling a certain way, like kids when they play, they may get mad at each other, but 5 minutes later, they're best friends again, you know? Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so it's a great reminder to have a new life every moment.
exactly.
Yeah, and so maybe we can a little bit tell that me and Anna, where we met, I think 2 years ago, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in a development course, and we even met physically together in Texas and have a retreat together, and we kept in touch. And I feel like this touch is very special for me because I feel we have some similar, views on life, on healing, because I know that you are also your occupation is healing. Yes, so maybe you
Mm-hmm.
can tell about yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm so happy that we stayed in touch and that we connected, because when I first met you, it was like immediately I felt a resonance with your energy. And it's beautiful because we attract like mirrors of ourselves and reminders of ourselves, right? Like we're on the same path and we have the same intention, right? To support women, to support men, to support humanity, to see this experience. with new eyes all the time, but also to work through whatever we have to work through in the moment, right? Because sometimes if we stay stuck in something, we think that's the only thing, you know? But when I met you, even like your whole process getting from Israel to the United States, that was a journey in itself, right? And you were like a perfect inspiration when you want something and it's in alignment. It's like everything happens to make it happen, getting your flights, getting your tickets, connecting with people here, right? Immigration, the visa, the whole process, and it's
Mm.
like the resonance when I met you was like, oh, okay, our souls have connected, before. And that's when the conversations became easy, and you know it's felt grounded, and
Yeah.
also just experiencing like your whole process around it, which was similar to my process. It may look a little different, the things we're navigating, but it's still the same work, just in different
Yeah.
ways. So it was a beautiful retreat, a lot happened. And even after the retreat, if you notice, there were opportunities to move through different things and challenges, I feel like when we go to a personal development retreat, a lot of tools are given to us. We go through different processes, but the real integration is when we go back home. You know,
Yes.
how are we
Exactly.
showing up in life, right? Differently than we were before we went to any type of retreat, personal development, that is when you can tell that, there's been an impact in your life, that something shifted, something changed, right? And it's how we use the experiences to change, when we go back home, when we go back home to our families, our community, right? How can we share what we learned with our community to give them hope that there is something available there, right? That we are not stuck where we're at, and just a reminder of how resilient you are, and that resilience, you take it back home with you, and people can be like, wow, if she did it, I can too. She had a dream, she had a vision, right? And then she just responded to life, God, source, energy, universe, whatever, people resonate with it. There was a force beyond ourselves that made it happen. But for us, it's taking the action, right? To move forward with that. And that's beautiful. It's like, yes, if she did it, I can too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm
yeah,
so grateful that you feel it, that you feel this power beyond, when we have all those, and I say we because I felt like all the group is going through it with me, when we
yeah,
have all those obstacles, and it seems like it's something something how it's going to happen. But I always reminded to myself, if this is aligned, if this is something that's supposed to happen, and it's true for me and for other people, it's necessary, so it
yeah,
will happen. And if not, it's okay, like I release. But
exactly.
I'm doing what I can from my side, and I listen to the force that is, doing the stuff from his side. And if it's
Yeah,
supposed to happen, it will happen. So it happened, and we met, and I was
yeah,
I was so happy because we were 3 months before, online in a contact, yes, online, and then for me to meet you and you all physically, it was like a celebration of the heart.
yes, totally. It's like this resonance, like I said, it's because we are doing similar work, right? And the most important work that we can do is with ourselves, you know? That is like the perfect and the key to really help others, because we can't really help anybody if we're not helping ourselves, you know? And the work that we're doing is bigger than us, you know? And so a big part of it is like really trusting and surrendering, getting ourselves out of the way, so the similar work that we do is like I'm a trauma informed coach and I guide women, specifically women, but I started working with men also because there really is no separation. As humans, doesn't matter if you're a woman, you're a man, you're still navigating the same challenges, but in different way. You know, a woman has different challenges than men, but it really is the transitions and the different phases of life that we go through as humans, as women, as men, right? And this conversation is so sacred and powerful because it's a reminder of letting go of the old, right? Letting go of
Mm-hmm.
limiting beliefs, you know, and that's the transformational work that I do, helping people release those energetic blocks, to remember who they truly are, you know, who we are at the core. And children are the reminder of who we truly are, right? We are here, divine beings, right? Having a human experience, you know, and to reclaim their personal power. You know, a lot of women, they give their power away. And it's not that they're doing it consciously or on purpose. It's the way we were brought up. You know, our parents, what they modeled to us, what they showed us, right? So it's tuning back into what is it that you really want as a woman? Who are you here to be? You know, you are not who you were. Think about who we were 2 years ago. We are not the same women at all, right? So my work is rooted in the intelligence of the nervous system, you know, and that is a powerful way that we could let go of the old personality, the old way of being, you know, it's through the body, you know, somatically and through your nervous system. Our nervous system is what holds memories, you know, and a lot of times those memories are not so good memories, right? But it's like bringing them to the surface and realizing that is not who I am. That is who I became, either for survival. You know, I can't even imagine what, you know, you're going through in Israel, what people are going through there. You know, it's horrible what's happening, you know, and it is part of the collective moving, you know, humanity moving into a more conscious place, coming from love, you know. So although it looks chaotic, it's still trying to get us back to love, to remind us that we're all one, that we all have differences. Can we love each other through the differences, you know, through the personalities, through the ego, and realize that is not who
Mm-hmm.
you are. You're just like in nervous system work, it's like fight or flight, you know, you get activated and it's a survival mechanism. You know, we go into the survival states trying to keep ourselves safe, you know, whether it's from, you know, a traumatic experience or safe in a relationship, safe in a community. So we get activated and show up in ways and realizing that this work can help people move through those beliefs, right? They could be negative beliefs. They could be limiting beliefs that I can't do this, I can't do that. I have to be this way because society tells me, or my government tells me, you know, my husband tells me, my community tells me, you know. So these are just beautiful, sacred cycles of death and rebirth. You know, it's like dying, you know, to old ways of being, even systems, the government. It's like the way the government works in the United States, it has to collapse because in order for it to be reborn, all the old systems have to fall away. All the people in power have to be removed, all of that, right? To bring in people that have the intention to love, to do things in a way that helps everybody as a whole, not just the one person in power, right? Humans in general, because we, as a collective, we are all here for a bigger purpose, you know, than just fighting
Yeah.
or all of that. So helping people just move through in this beautiful path of healing, you know? Yeah.
I'm so aligned with what you say because you also talk about personal development and a development as a nation, yes, and even if it's Israel or other nations. So I feel like it's very similar because um, in a healing trauma, so we know that we are healing, and we are, like you said, the energetic blockages and the heart feelings, and we like step into them and we release them gently, yes. And then what it reveals, it's like a largest space to feel love.
Yes, yes. So it's like
Yeah,
helping people see what's blocking them from feeling love, from loving
yeah.
themselves, from loving their neighbor. What is in the way, right? And it's usually a
Hmm.
belief system, like we've seen it throughout history where let's say, for example, Black people or white people, Mexican, we put ourselves in different categories. So therefore we cause separation, It's the
Hmm.
belief system that, this is right and this is wrong, according to who? Who says that this is right and this is wrong? I
Hmm.
believe that there is no right and there is no wrong. There's just different ways of looking at life. And can we honor those differences? you know, and with the intention that at the end of the day, it's about loving each other. Can I accept you as a human being in the path that you chose, right? And if there's something in the way, for example, that this person wants to cause harm, okay, where is that coming from? And it could be because they're angry. Okay, well, why are you angry? Where's the
Hmm.
anger coming from? And likely it's something that happened in childhood that they never got to heal or express. So as adults, we carry that anger through our life. So it's like helping someone see where they're angry. Why are they angry? And then give that anger space to express, because if we don't express our emotions, they get stuck. And that's the energetic block. People want to be successful and people want to attract abundance, but their limiting belief is not allowing them to access that part because they're either angry, right? Or they're in judgment, right? Or they believe that there's scarcity, right? That in order for me
Hmm.
to be successful, I have to work really hard. You know, I have to do instead of just be. And I'm sure you can resonate that there's so many people that you meet that have these beautiful gifts, but they're afraid to show. They're
Yeah.
afraid to use their voice. They're afraid to express because they think something bad is going to happen or that their voice doesn't matter. So it's like guiding people to the truth of, yes, you have this beautiful gift, like your voice. Your voice, when you speak, it carries a frequency, and when we sing and when we are in ceremony, when we use a drum, when we use these instruments to activate, energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And when we are starting to express the true feelings, and like the whole body and the whole being starting to be more open to feel the other side, because till when we don't see ourselves, when we don't see our um, places or our feelings that need to be expressed, so we see others through our pains. So when we start to release our pain, we start to see others like they're real. They're the real they. So I feel like this the frequency of to see others like they are true. Yeah, it's something that we are going here in Israel towards, because in Israel I feel like the frequency of love is the most, like the biggest target, and we are so different here, and there are so many feelings like of anger and of guilt and of judgment of each other. So when we start to face that, to release each one of us, and when we start to see that we are all very very connected, we are all dependent on each other, we have the same goal, we have the same like target in life, because the big target, I believe, is love, to feel love, to express love. So we start to be like more, how can I say it? I feel like in Israel there is more openness because we have a lot of wars here and, situations that we need to be together. We
Yes.
must be together. We need to be together. And, but the big target, as I see it, that we don't need wars to connect ourselves. We can make those connections by inner work and by opening our heart and by um, accepting ourselves,
Yes.
and then we can accept others, like you said, even if the other is very different.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of inner work needed
Yes.
here.
Yes, because if we can see everybody out there as a
Mhm.
mirror, right? Because a lot of times people are in judgment, like, oh my God, this person is this and this person is that. Instead of the judgment outside, we can take a look at, okay, what is this person reflecting to me about me? Where am I not loving? Because it starts with us. When we can start to heal and look inside where we're not loving ourselves, where we are not in love of our neighbor, when we want to attack our neighbor, that's when the healing happens, when we can shift that inside of ourselves. And I believe it's such a powerful force to return to love, right? Because it's easier to judge somebody outside and say they're the bad guy. They are doing this, but they're just showing you as a collective. Think about it. As a collective, we created that. We created the chaos because inside of us, there's chaos. Inside of us, there's fear. Inside of us, we want to protect ourselves, but we don't know how. So outside is just letting us know, wow, this is where there's so many people. Imagine 100 people in the same frequency, right? And let's say
Mhm.
they're all angry. Well, guess what it's going to do? It's going to amplify. It's going to make the anger bigger and bigger. And then more people come. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, I feel the energy. Let me be angry too, because this feels like the way to be, you know, when in
Mhm.
fact we can little by little start to shift that narrative, to no, this is not the way. Wars are not the way. They're just causing more harm than they are good. So where is the war inside of us? Where do we have the inner battle with ourselves that is just reflected outside in the world? You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like the inner battle, the inner war, it's like a step before something new is like wanting to be reborn. Because, every birth is, it's not easy. It's like it's pain and it's all kind of forces that come together, and then there is like a crisis, and then there is a birth. So I really believe that even if in one person there are so many different like conflicts and, thoughts and beliefs, that when the inner war is coming to some edge, so it's like a minute before something new supposed to be reborn.
Yes. Yeah, it's
And
like
I,
nature, right?
it's,
Nature teaches us.
yes.
Nature is just flowing, and there's constantly like flowers are growing and they're blooming, and trees are growing and they're growing roots and they become stronger. So nature can teach us a lot about ourselves as humans. So I think that's a powerful tool for people to connect to the outside world through nature. We are nature. I mean, we are earth, right? Our bodies are earth. Our breath is air. Fire is our spirit, right? And blood is water. So if
Mm.
we can return to those elements, right, and work with our own inner being and our humanness, we're able to shift humanity, the collective. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we can do, I believe that we can do this transformation when we have a guiding. I
Yes.
really believe that yeah, we can all do a very big transformation, a big change every person and as a nation. And when we have some people like besides us that did that or can go through this together with us, so this reborn is much easier. It's like something natural. It's like birth. We have the doula and we have, like supporters when we have birth of kids.
Yes,
So the same with the person, and I'm sure that you see it in your ceremonies. Yes, you have the
yes.
guiding.
Yeah, and that's why it's beautiful that also to know that there's power in being different, right? Like I'm Mexican, so there's
Mhm.
different things in my culture, right, that you could be open to and learning from. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things like I started really getting into the Kabbalah. So there's a lot of wisdom in Kabbalah. And I'm like, wow, imagine if I was closed off and I said, no, that's a different culture. No, that I'm not open to that. There's so many beautiful lessons and wisdom in Kabbalah, and also Hinduism in India. There's a lot of magic in India. If we could see each other's differences as beautiful tools, right? Or beautiful perspectives and ways of doing things. Like I feel like humanity would shift as a whole instead of like seeing the differences like nope and closing off to that
Mhm.
person, to that culture, and also like religion. I feel like religion, everybody's different, but at the end of the day, whatever religion is out there, they want to get to the one thing, to
Mhm.
God, to source, to energy, to a force that's bigger than us. There's different paths, but they're all leading to the same thing. You know, is can I accept that person's beliefs? Can I accept, because ultimately we're all going the same way, right? We're all going to die someday. How are we going to live our life right now, how we are here? But different paths doesn't mean that they're wrong. Doesn't mean that mine is better than yours, right? Doesn't mean that that person's way of being is wrong compared to mine. So letting go of those belief systems, like throw them out the window, because there's no rebirth, right? Without like shedding the old and letting something die in order
Mhm.
for something new to be reborn? Yeah.
Mm. Wow, it's so amazing what you say because in the field of detox, I'm also occupying with that a lot of years in this field. When real detox is happening, when we um, can release something, it's not to take it and throw it away. It's to accept it, to be so grateful to that thing, whether it's toxins in the body, whether it's a connection with some person that is no longer serving us. It also can be a toxin some in some point, but when we can say thank you to that, and when I accept it fully that it was part of my life, so only then I can release it, like with no force,
Yes, exactly.
easily.
Yes, that's a beautiful way to represent that, like a detox. Because think about it, our bodies, our cells are always changing. Every 7 years, we have brand new cells in our body. Our blood is filtering, right? Our cells are regenerating. Our brain is changing all the time. So why do we resist things in life? If we have no control over how our body is changing, right? Why do we try to control everything outside in our
Mm-hmm.
world? And detox, think about the whole process of a detox too, right? There's toxins in your body. You're doing whatever you need to do, whether it's a cleanse, whether it's taking like a parasite cleanse, parasites in your body. And you go through this process of feeling really bad. Like, oh my God, I feel tired. I feel nauseous. Whatever your body's doing, it's making way for a brand new body, for a body that's healthy, a body that can think clearly, can speak clearly, can have more energy. But if we stay stuck and not ever clear the vessel, right, then we're stagnant. We live life almost the same way, like a robot, doing the same thing over and over and over, but inside we're miserable. Our bodies are miserable. we're fighting what is naturally happening, you know?
Yes, yes, I see it every time. I see it when the body is having a cleansing, like the cleansing of the body. It's really really influenced the cleansing of the mind and the
Yeah,
cleansing of the feelings because the emotions because it's all one system.
exactly. Yes, even our thoughts, right? If we let go of those thoughts, first of all, we have to work with the thoughts. Okay, let me see what my belief system is because we
Mm,
can't change what we're not aware of. So if
yes.
we can um like look at what our belief system is and then release those old ways of being and those old ways of thinking, then we could start to train our brain to think differently, to have new belief systems. But it's like clearing the vessel and expanding our capacity to hold something new. But if we're one of my mentors says this really well, where you can visualize a swimming pool, and that
Mm,
swimming pool has a bunch of beach balls in it. You can't swim around the pool because there's a lot of stuff in the way. So the work that we do is like clearing away a little beach ball. And that little beach ball could be a belief that you're not good enough.
mm-hmm,
And once you realize, yes, I am worthy. I'm worthy because I am, right? And then that beach ball, you remove it so you can move a little bit more through the water. So it's just moving, clearing those balls out of the way so that you can swim freely and you can feel expansive and you can feel more joy, you can feel more pleasure, you know. And we'll talk a little bit about grief because grief is like part of letting go, you know, and the
yeah.
process that I've gone through with grieving, you know, and grieving for me is a huge block because grief blocks joy. It blocks
Mm,
love, right? It blocks you from feeling free, you know? And when we give sacred space to grief, on the other side of grief is so much more. But a lot of times people don't know how to move through grief. People stay stuck in grief. You know, for example, if a loved one dies, a lot of times people feel that if they let go of the grief, they're going to let go of the person,
mm,
and they don't want to let go of the person. So it's like letting them know that that is just not true and that is just a story. Can we guide them to feel the grief, to feel the love? The person, the energy is still there, the memory is still there. Can I love this person wherever they are? Can I come back to love and just be love? And that keeps the person's memory alive within you.
mm. So important what you say. And because here in Israel we have a lot of lost. I mean, like families lost a lot of, they're very very close people, and this energy is very like spoken here, and like maybe I don't know if half, but maybe one third of Israel is like in grief.
Yes,
So
yes,
it's the heaviness is here, and yeah, I really really understand what you say because those energies, the joy, like the energy of life and the energy of grief and this sadness, they can't live together in one place, in one body. Usually it's in the stomach, yes, the down of the so the stomach, and it's like one place. So they can live together, so we need to like if we want to start release that, make really yes, a process with that.
yes. And I love
um
that you say that because, like, speaking of the chakras, right?
yeah.
Grief usually stays stuck in the lower three chakras. And the lower
Mm,
three chakras, for example, the root chakra is survival, right? So if there's grief stuck there, you're gonna constantly feel like in survival. Like I have to survive, right? And then
mm,
you're thinking about the second chakra, which is your sacral, right? It's life force energy, you know? It's like again survival mode. And then you go to your solar plexus. Solar plexus is confidence, how I show up in the world. So if those three chakras are blocked by grief, You won't be able to access and feel grounded and feel rooted and feel alive and feel confident, feel pleasure. The sacred is all about life force and pleasure and creativity, right? So you may be blocking your creativity. So it's like when somebody is aware and they see, oh, I have grief. Oh, grief stays stuck in these areas. Then you could work with moving through the grief so that we can clear those chakras. And then once we clear them, guess what? Then you move up to the heart, right? And then
Mm.
when the heart is open, it's like clearing more, and you're able to use your voice and clearing the throat chakra, right? And then you're accessing the third eye, your intuition, and then you're wide open and you're connected to source. You're connected to God. You're connected to the divine. So having that clear channel and vessel for the energy to move through you more freely, and a lot of times we must feel heartbreak in order for
Mm.
your heart to crack open, you know?
Mm.
As if the grief gets stuck and your heart is closed off, you're closed off to yourself, you're closed off to life, you're closed off to
Mm.
your children, to your husband, to your spouse, you're closed off to success, you're closed off to so much. So oftentimes that was my journey. I had to really allow my heart to crack open and to really
Mm.
feel pain and to really feel the grief. What does grieving feel like? I didn't know how to even access the grief because a part of me felt scared that I was going to stay stuck in grieving for the rest of my life.
Mm.
But it's because I was trying to control, not grieving. I was trying to control, right, my process instead of allowing the energy to just move and surrender, right, to the energy moving, and so that I could access so much more, you know?
Yes, and when you talk about it, so it's the same happening with us when we have some relationship and then the relationship is no longer serve us, or two people are I don't know, there is like a breakup. So it's the same process because when we have some breakup with someone, so the feeling is like this person is starting like to die from my
Mhm.
reality, yes, to go like far and far away, and it's like a death. So
Yeah.
I so familiar with this feeling, like when the heart is like breaking to all kind of pieces. And then when I look at very very painful breakup that I had, so I see my heart before and after, and I see even if it was so painful, and sometimes it was a process of couple of months, and sometimes it was a process of couple of years.
Yeah.
But every time I had like a new heart after,
Yeah. Yeah.
a biggest heart, like much more bigger, to feel to like have this capacity to feel love, to accept all kind of forms of love. So yes, and it was after the breaking of the heart.
Yes, yes. And it's like the breakup could also mean the breakup with a job that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
people have been in jobs for like 10 years, but they're miserable. They're not happy. So it's like a part of us has to allow our heart to break and that dynamic to break and let go of the job that you hate so that you could be doing what you really love, you know, and even breaking up with being a mom, right? Because a lot of times
Mm.
as a mom, we identify with I'm a mom, and we think that that's the only thing we are, right? And then our kids grow up and they move out of the house, so we're left alone. Like, I'm not a mom anymore, right? I no
Mm.
longer take care of my child every day like I used to. And instead of fighting it, it's almost like, yes, you're still a mom, right? But you have to break up with that identity of being a mom so that you can tap into the woman, right?
Mm.
Live your life giving your gifts from that place of the empowered woman instead of like, oh, I'm no longer a mom. Because a mom, you could see it as a nurturer, a caretaker. You could be a mom to your clients, right? We can
Mm.
give birth to ideas. We can give birth to projects, so it's like, yes, you're no longer identified as the mom, how you see it, but you're constantly birthing new ideas, new ways of being, new ways of
Yeah.
seeing the world, you know? So also that's a heartbreak that we must feel in order
Mm.
for us to grow into this different version of being a mom, you know?
Yeah, I understand it, and because we have all kind of levels of this mom, yes, job identity. Because this, it's like a different form of mom, which is changing, and our kids needs from us different things. First, it was more physical, now it's more emotional, and then so it's still mom, but different version. And yeah, I agree, like it's releasing. And I wanted to ask you, and we talk about a little bit about when we release something and the new is still not here. Like I release a relationship, a job, or a form of, even when we are have a businesses and we change the occupation within the business or the way we do things, it's like a transformation. So there is the old form we did things and the new one which is waiting for us, but there is this like vacuum of
Yeah,
nothing is happening. And I
yeah,
feel like many people not doing the change because of fear of being inside this vacuum of I'm like in nothing now. It's
mhm,
like it can be very scary, right? Like
yeah. It's like learning to surrender
mm-hmm,
and also integrate this new way of being. Because if you get curious instead of staying stuck in the past, and if you get curious, like, oh, I get to create something new, what would that look like? Instead of, oh my gosh, like, what do I do now? Who am I now? You could ask yourself, wow, who do I get to be now? What do I get to do differently? Right? What new projects could I do? What new goals can I set for myself? You know? And
mm-hmm.
I feel like the process of grieving is all of that, like feeling all of that, but not judging yourself like you have to be somewhere else. Can I just be with what's available right now? Can I integrate, you know, me not being a mom and my son moved out? Can I integrate that, right? And give it like sacred space in order for it to move when it's supposed to move, not when I want to control it to move. It's like, okay, Anna, you've been grieving for a month now. That's long enough. Like, hurry up, we can't
Yes,
hurry our healing. Healing is
yes.
is layers and levels and levels and levels. So if we could be patient and give
Mm,
ourselves grace, that's when things move according to divine timing. Not when the ego wants it to
mm,
change, not when the ego wants it to be. It's divine because if we allow ourselves that space, so much healing can happen. Then you can have awarenesses like, oh my gosh, now I know why I went through this. Now I know why I experienced that, you know? Instead of like when we stay stuck, it's almost like it becomes chaotic and we're stuck in the chaos, you know? So it's like integrating every phase
mm,
of our life and every breakthrough, instead of searching, like, for example, working with plant medicine. What people can do is like they get stuck on that feeling of like, oh my God, this feels so good. This feels amazing. So they constantly want to feel that amazing, right? Instead of allowing everything to land and for them to feel, okay, this lesson came through and I had this awareness. Wow, amazing, right? But
mm,
they go do more plant medicine or they're doing something else. They're constantly doing retreat after retreat after retreat. So you don't fully get to integrate your first retreat because you did the next one. And then the next one brought something else up, and then you do another one and another one. So you don't fully land. So you're constantly
mm,
up there, like seeking that dopamine hit, right?
mm,
Oh my God, I'm feeling high all the time. And in order for us to fully like feel whole, we have to experience the highs and the lows. Can I be in this low moment and just be with it? It's not wrong. It's just where I'm at. Because if I don't give myself permission to feel the lows, I won't be able to access the high, right? And the lows are where we grow, you know?
mm.
Yeah.
Wow, you know, when you speak, I remember this course that we made together with the retreat. I think like it was very intensive. Yes, it was 3 months, very intensive, and then the retreat was 3 days. For me, it was like very, very like intensive energy. And then I feel like I needed maybe 1 year to integrate that all that I even I don't think I took another courses. I had no place inside of me because I had so many insight from what we have been going through together that I think it was 1 year that I integrated everything, and it was everything. Like I felt a lot of feelings, but I gave it a place, and I really agree with you that yeah, we like the integration is so important, and we can't compare one integration and one process to another one. Like we can't say, like you say, okay, let's say hurry up in this we can't say to ourselves, because we see others, they already processed and they're already doing something, and I'm still here. But every one of us has his own path and has
Yeah.
his own rhythm.
Exactly, because that is also an energy block when we
Mm,
compare,
yeah.
right? Because somebody's trauma could be completely different to your trauma. So they may have needed to only work through, let's say something for a month, but they're able to move through. And your trauma, you stayed stuck with that trauma longer. So it may take you 6 months, and that's okay. But we begin to compare, especially social media is I think really bad for that, right? Where people
Mm-hmm.
start to compare, and because somebody moved through something faster than you did, you judge yourself for like, oh my God, but they're already doing their program and they have this going on. Why am I not doing that? Why am I not there? And that's the very thing that keeps us stuck. Instead of like, wow, okay, I'm still working through this. Can I continue to work through it? Doesn't matter if it takes me a year, doesn't matter how long it takes. But if we don't move through that, it comes back and it recycles, right? Because we're avoiding, right? So we
Mm.
cannot avoid the very thing that we have to integrate. Because if we fully integrate it, then we can move forward, you know?
Exactly. And I think that what helps us to stay in this integration, in, you know, the thing of the self-esteem, which is not mm, like dependent on external titles. What I mean is that when we like almost lose everything. Yes, we can lose everything. I saw people lose their, in Corona, I saw people very successful losing companies. Um, I saw very successful people losing families, losing their wife in all kind of circumstances, and losing their kids, and losing their, you know, the title also. So, and when a person feels like I'm losing everything, but this like feeling of I have myself, I have my being, I have my, um, I appreciate myself no matter what I have or what I don't have. Like, I appreciate my way, I appreciate my path. I just appreciate this being, and to build this self-esteem. I believe this is a very, very important building to build in life,
Yes.
because we then can go through a lot of, you know, like black periods, or like nothing is happening, but I'm still here with me, and I support like my being, and then, you know, the sun is rising again.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I love that you say that because I went through that process too when I had a company and I had so much going on, but it was like realizing that I didn't lose it, right? It
Mm,
was shifting because if we even the language that we used, the language that I was using, it was keeping me stuck in the past because I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose that. I lost this and I lost, my career. But really, it's just you're transforming it because you don't
mm,
lose your experiences, right? You don't lose the knowledge that you gained when you had the business. all the tools and the skills and all of that, you didn't lose that, right? It's just transforming into something new. So I had to really let go of that even word for me, because losing, it was like keeping me stuck in the past. There's nothing I'm losing, because if I stay stuck in losing, then I don't focus on what I'm gaining, you know?
Mm,
What is here now for me, you know? Yeah, so I
yeah.
love that you say that because it was a great reminder.
Yeah, this transformation, if we look on transformation like a gain, like yeah, like something new is coming to my life, and I trust that it is better than I had before, because we're always developing. So I believe that more and more people will want to transform because I
Exactly.
see it's so fun, and it's not. And I know that there are a lot of fears around that, but I think in this podcast also, and in many other talks that we make, so we give like a hope and a faith that transformation can be really fun and really like an adventure to
Yeah.
reveal something new within ourselves and within the world.
Yes, yes.
So we spoke about like how to release. So what now in those days is your spark? What gave you like a passion in your life, in your occupation?
Yeah. It's like this, the whole process that I went through,
Mm-hmm.
to really remember who I am. So I'm really passionate about helping women remember who they are through the process of their own awakening, their own death and rebirth, right? And I feel like our pain is really our purpose. And we must really go through something in order for us to embody it and to be able to teach it, from a very different place of like, I feel you. I know where you're at. I know what you're going through. And what brings me joy is like witnessing women remember who they are. Whether it's a retreat or like sacred ceremony or working one-on-one coaching with women. Um, it's like it brings me so much joy because it's also like the mirror for me, right? To see my growth, to see uh, who I'm attracting, because we usually attract somebody that is where we used to be 10 years ago, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it brings me so much joy and like a reminder of like, wow, this is why I do what I do, you know? Because I meet someone that I was 10 years ago and I'm able to help her, remember who she is. And that's like, oh my gosh, that lights me up. And every time a woman, comes to me and in a certain way, and we go through coaching or retreat or ceremony, and then 6 months later, she messages me and she tells me, oh my gosh, I'm no longer, hating myself. I no longer look in the mirror and call myself fat. I no longer, right? So that brings me so much joy. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I feel like each one of us comes here with a purpose, and the purpose can change, right? As we change, our purpose changes. And watching humans evolve and humans let go, and even how our world used to be 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like if you think about it right now, we are in the most intense times, but also the most liberating. Why? Because the pandemic, I feel, really helped people go inward, because
Mm.
what I witnessed was everybody was like a robot, and everybody was in like the career. It's like, I have to do this, I have to make money. So they were like in this go, 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 survival, survival. I have to make money in order for me to be happy. I need to make money in order for me to travel. I need to do this in order to do that. So the pandemic forced us to be with ourselves, to be with our family, to be with our children. A lot of families were doing a lot of healing in the family, right? Because let think about it. If you went to work every day and you didn't see your husband for 8 hours, 10 hours every day, right? There wasn't a lot happening as far as like friction or, and then you're stuck at home with your partner, your spouse. even your kids, and a bunch of stuff starts coming up, right? And it's coming up so that you can work with it, so that you can see, maybe I'm still mad at my husband from something he did 5 years ago. And that comes up so you can work with it, so you can repair that relationship, you know, and noticing too, when we are constantly moving and moving and going, we don't slow down. We don't slow down to feel. We don't slow down to breathe. We don't slow down. So it causes us to slow down and go inward. So now I feel like the world is trying to integrate everything that happened, and
Mm.
people are resisting the integration. People are fighting and fighting, but in reality, it's like, keep going inward. Keep going inward to see, where your life is still not feeling joy, where you're still not feeling love, where you're still feeling um, that your spirit is shut down, But it's in those quiet moments when our spirit, our soul, it speaks through the silence. You know, I've
Mm.
been getting closer to God more than I have been, because in those moments, I'm with myself. I go for a walk, I get to be with myself, but also tune into the bigger, picture. And um, when I didn't go in silence, I was listening to other people's noise. For example, most of my life, I grew up people telling me how to be. People, so I became the adult woman that was always seeking somebody else to tell me how to be. But when I shut all that external noise and I decided and I chose, no, I'm going to go inward. What makes me happy? You know, what will make me feel most alive? And noticing too, when I would want to call a friend so that friend could tell me the answer, right? So that
Mm.
I can go to a retreat or a personal development course so they could tell me, right? So it's like, no, I choose. What do I want? Who do I want to become? And getting curious, right, with who I'm becoming. And instead of like in the beginning, it does feel chaotic when we are learning new ways of being, right? Because we have to let go of what was familiar in the past, right? And we can like embrace the new change and be excited about it, be excited. Oh my gosh, I get to do this. So noticing moments for myself when I wanted to call someone outside of myself, you know? And then when I tuned into the silence into myself, it was like I started to realize that God is everywhere, right? And so I started to listen to podcasts and I asked the question. I would ask God, please just show me, where I'm stuck. Please show me, guide me. What do I need to see about myself? How can I be a better person? But I was thinking that the answer was in, somebody telling me, hey, call my friend, right? But the answer was in a podcast that I listened to. The answer was in a book that I read. It was God responding to my question through the collective energy. A song came on and the song said all the right words, right? You are powerful, you are beautiful. And I was like, wait a minute, what is happening
Mm.
here? But I wouldn't be able to access that if I was outside all the time asking everybody else, who should I be? What should I do? What course should I take? The course is going to tell me who to be. The course is going to tell me this, right? But it's like, no, they're just tools. So I started to add to my toolbox, breath work and learning more about nervous system work and being trauma informed. Now I can pull from that toolbox, right? Tools that I can use for myself. So I no longer seek external confirmation, validation, because my intuition was telling me something, but I didn't trust it. So I would go talk to a friend who was psychic,
Mm.
and then she would tell me something, and I'm like, I already knew that, right? So trusting myself at a deeper level, that all the answers are inside of us. We are the only ones that know what we really need. Somebody that tells you this is what you need, I don't trust them. You know what I
Mm.
mean? They can give you the tools, right? So that's why for me as a coach, and as somebody that helps others heal, it's like I'm not the one healing you. I'm just holding space for you to access your own healing, your own power, your own truth. I'm just the vessel that is carrying certain words and certain energy, like Reiki, for example, but it's not really me. So when I understood that, then I felt like, oh my gosh, that's a whole rebirth for me because I no longer identify with the old little girl version of me that was always told what to do, how to be, what to say, you know? So that's what brings
It's
me joy. And that's like where I'm at right now with, with
so
everything.
exciting, so exciting, so exciting. And I was so excited about the silence you spoke about because it's a whole journey. It's a whole journey. We need a lot of courage to be in a real silence with ourselves so we can hear the answers from
Yeah,
inside. It's a
yeah,
very, yes, it's a very courageous journey to tap into the silence. And sometimes, yeah, you're right. Like we can be the people who are healers. It's not the healing that we make. We only, like you said, we make space, and sometimes this space that needed for the other side to hear himself, it's the silence. So I feel like the best, sometimes the best moment for me when I'm with a healer, like I have also people that heal me, so and support me. So those, yes, those silent moments that I can feel my truth, and they are only here to like witness that, and
exactly.
it's so
Yes, I
amazing.
love that. Yeah, it's like my main message would be that you are the medicine, right? That you
Mm.
are your own healer, that everything you need is already inside of you. It's within you. My role, simply as a coach and a guide is to help others remember through my own remembrance, through my own embodiment of remembering who I am, right? And to guide others back to the parts of themselves that were never broken, right? That they may think, oh, I'm broken or I'm not good enough or all of that. It's just those parts of themselves that were buried underneath all of that, underneath the layers of conditioning, the layers of old patterns. And for me, healing is not about becoming someone else. It's more about reclaiming who you've always been underneath the pain, underneath the trauma, underneath the anger, underneath the patterns, the programming, the personality, right? And then when we come and we live from that place, it's like you not only change your life, but it's like that ripple effect, that we transmit that energy to our children and our children to their children and our community to other communities and the world, right? It's like we change our relationships, we change the world through that remembrance, that we are the medicine, that we are our own healers. People just show up to be beautiful guides and teachers for us, and wonderful mirrors. If we can allow that and trust and surrender to that, it's like for me, I feel like magic happens all the time.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm with you with that. And I'm exactly about magic because I feel like magic is everywhere. It's in every moment. And a lot of magic happens when we are connecting to our truth, and we are spreading this vibe of truth so people can start to remember the true who they are truly. And when then the connections between people are so unique and so have like a special quality. Like
Mm.
I feel like you and me, we have such a special quality of connection
Exactly. Yeah.
because we both making a lot of inner work. Each one of us make a lot of work with ourselves. So when we are connect, like two words of truth connecting, it's such amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the ripple effect, it's like the vast ocean. We become little ripples, of change and it just moves. The energy just moves outward. And can we be more of that? Can we be more of that, And children are such beautiful, again, reminders of purity, of innocence, of play. That's why I'm so like heartbroken too, all those children, that are suffering in the world, because those children are going to be adults,
Yeah.
and those adults are going to show up with everything that happened to them as children. So can we love these children? Can we support these children? Can we be mentors? Can we be teachers? Can we be mothers to these children that may have lost their parents, that may have lost their mother? Can we be the family that they need, to create a new world, instead of leaving these children behind that are going to become adults, that it's just going to recycle, right? And the wars are going to continue, and disconnection is going to continue. But if we all become one and mother these children and guide these children, and help adults heal that inner child, so that as a collective, we can all return to that oneness and to the love, you know?
I wish that. I really wish that we can feel like all the children are like our children. Really, like I really want that our and ask for our heart to be so big, to be like a container for. I feel like every one of us is a child. Is a child. We know that. So there, I walk on the street and I feel those little kids inside of even the adults who are broken and who are sad and who are angry and who are in during the driving do all kind of stuff so other people can see them in the road, but there is like a child inside. And I really wish that we can make such a work with ourselves so we can see our inner child, and so we can see others too.
Yes, yes.
So I feel like we touched so many topics, but it like they are all connected, right? It's like
Mhm.
a whole world here, and I feel I can talk with you like endless
Yes, I know. It's like, oh, we
forever.
can talk about so many things, because there are so many things to talk about in this life. And I just really want to acknowledge you and really thank you for who you are, and the work that you're doing, and how you're impacting, those around you and humanity. And for you to put this on YouTube, right? The more people you can reach, touch their heart. I always think if I could impact just one person, because that person will feel different, and that person will go and they'll impact somebody else and somebody else and somebody. It's like paying it forward. So this work that you're doing is like so important, and you are such beautiful light. You are such medicine.
Mm.
You have this wisdom and this. It's like when I see you, it's like you walk in love, regardless of what's going on. And for you to be that, impact, that light that shines upon the world, upon your community. And again, YouTube is a great vehicle for that, for you to put it out there, to share with others as an invitation of what's available. You are such a permission slip for others
Mm.
to do the same thing in their own unique way. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, for this opportunity to have this beautiful conversation. I'm sure we're going to have many more.
Yes, it's only the beginning, the first one, and I will invite you more and more. And this podcast will be also on Spotify.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
most of the podcast is in Hebrew now, but there will be more. Like you are the pioneer of the English speakers. So go on. And thank you for like giving this like a space. And for me to make a podcast in English, it's like doing something new. It's like to be reborn. So
Exactly.
for me,
Yes.
it's new. And yes, yeah. So in YouTube and in Spotify, and I will be so happy to do more and more of that together.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Anna. And I wanted to say that in the end of each episode, we make some a very unique voice. I will show you. It's like it's going like that, like yoo-hoo, yeah. So
Oh, I guess I can't do that.
so like it, you know, it reminds us to give a permission to our voice, to our freedom, to our inner child to do like, even if it's messy, it doesn't matter. And my kids also do it in their own way. And everyone who is like here. So if you can and you accept this invitation to do it together,
Yeah, we could do it together.
we can do it. Okay, so we can do it together. So I want to thank everybody that listened to this episode and shared with us this space and this energy. Thank you so much. And please comment and share if it was resonating with you. And we will meet you in the next episode. And Anna, thank you again. It was
It was an honor.
my heart is full. And so this voice is going like that, like yoo-hoo, yeah. So let's do it together.
Okay.
Okay. Yoo-hoo,
Yoo-hoo! Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Julia. I love you so much and I appreciate you so much. And it was such an honor to share this conversation with you.
Thank you. I love you too. Anna, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It was so fun.